Hello and welcome to this lecture of company law. In this lecture, I'm going to take you through section 70, which is the last part of buyback of securities topic. We had gone through section 68, which spoke about what is buyback, sources of buyback, and conditions and procedure for buyback of securities. Then we had gone through section 69, which spoke about maintenance of CRR account by the company in case of buyback of securities. And lastly, section 70 speaks about prohibition. It speaks about prohibition for buyback in certain circumstances. Prohibition means in certain circumstances, buyback will not be allowed by the Companies Act itself. So that is why it is known as prohibition. Okay, I hope you understand the difference between prohibition and restriction. Prohibition means it will not be allowed at all. Not be allowed at all. So let us get into section 70 without wasting any time. Section 70's first point says that no company shall directly or indirectly purchase its own shares or other specified securities through the following means. So no company shall purchase its own shares directly or indirectly through any subsidiary company, including its own subsidiary company. We all know what is subsidiary company. Normally, a company which has more than one half of the voting power in other company, then that other company is known as subsidiary company, and the company which has such an holding, which has such an voting power, will be known as holding company. So, in case, for example, H company, which is the holding company, and S company, which is the subsidiary company. So H company is holding more than half of voting power in S company. Now, in case S company goes on to purchase shares in H company, that means H company is purchasing its own shares through S company limited, which is a subsidiary company. Hence, this particular transaction is prohibited by section 70. I hope this point is clear. Also, if the company purchases its own shares through the subsidiary of any other company, that will also be prohibited in this particular case. So, look at the wordings very carefully. Through any subsidiary company, or even its own subsidiary company. I hope this point is clear. The next point is through any investment company. Any company is created for the purpose of investment of securities in other companies. Then, with the same investment company, the group of investment companies, if they purchase the shares of its company's own shares, then it is also prohibited. That means a company, say in case H company, and there is an investment company. If investment company registered as investment company purchases shares in any company, then in that case, this particular transaction will also be said to be invalid or prohibited transaction. So H company is purchasing its own shares through an investment company will also be prohibited. This point is also clear. And lastly, if there is any default by the company, in repayment of deposits or interest thereon, or redemption of debentures on its maturity date, or preference shares redemption on its maturity date, or payment of dividend on such preference shares, or repayment of term loan and interest payable thereon. If there is a default by the company, then the company will be prohibited from buying back its own securities. I hope this point is also clear. Now, one more important point over here is that in case of default, company is prohibited from buying back securities. But in case the company makes the default good, that means whatever is repayment is pending from the company repays the same. And then whether the company will be allowed to buy back its securities in this case or not. So the condition is provided over here that buyback is not prohibited where default is remedied. Remedied means default is made good. But a period of 3 years has lapsed after the default ceased to subsist. So at least a period of 3 years shall be completed from the time when the default was made good. That means default ceased to subsist. So this is an important point again from case study point of view. Okay, so the 3 points are: first point is company is prohibited from purchasing directly or indirectly through its subsidiary company or its own subsidiary company also, and through any investment company or group of investment company, or through any, if there is any default made by company in repayment of deposits or interest thereon, redemption of debentures or preference shares, or payment of dividend or term loan or interest payable thereon. So I hope these points are clear to you. This is the first point which speaks about prohibition. Apart from that, a company which has not complied with the provisions of section 92, section 123, and section 129 will also be prohibited. Will also be prohibited from buying back its own shares. Okay. So what is this section 92? Section 92 is filing of annual return. A video for the same is already uploaded. Please do check that video and refer to that video. This is an important topic in itself. Important topic in itself. And then there is section 123, which speaks about declaration of dividend. So if the company does not comply with the provisions of declaration of dividend, that will also be a prohibition for buying back its own securities. A particular video, a separate video on section 123, that is dividend, will be uploaded on my channel very soon in this week itself. As well as section 129, which speaks about financial statements. If the company does not comply with the provisions of section 129, then the company will be prohibited from buying back its own securities. So I hope these 2 points are clear to you. This is also important section from case study point of view. One of the sub questions in the case study might be related to these clauses. Okay, and that's it for the buyback of securities topic. If you have any doubts, do write it down on the comment section of this particular video. If you have not yet subscribed to the channel, do subscribe to the channel. If you have understood the content of this channel, please like the channel. It motivates me to bring more videos for you. That's it from me. Thanks a lot. Stay safe, stay healthy.